Hello, and welcome to our Cloud POS Release Notes training video, December 18th, Control Center and POS release. We've added additional functionality regarding the import process of invoices received via EDI. When we navigate to the EDI module, which we can get to by clicking through Point of Sale, Inventory Receiving, and then finally selecting the EDI import option from the drop-down list at the top left of the page, we will make note of the fact that when an EDI order is pulled in that contains items within it that are not already present within our price book, those particular items are highlighted in red from the EDI invoice preview screen we see here. For each line item or product highlighted in red, there will be a green Add button in the column furthest to the right. When we click this button, we are immediately met with the option for adding a vendor part for the product in question to our vendor parts list for the vendor associated to the EDI invoice we are working with. Within this same window, we can also create a product for the item in question within our price book. This will in turn tie the vendor part, if we so happen to create one here, to the product automatically. When we're within the Slow Sellers Report, found in Control Center under Point of Sale Reports, Sales Reports, and then choosing the Slow Sellers option from the Reports drop-down menu, we will now notice that our development team has added an embedded hyperlink to each respective UPC for any item within said report that will take us directly to the item analysis window for the product in question. Within the Employee Scheduler, which can be navigated to by hitting Scheduler, Employee Scheduler, choosing your desired time period, and then clicking on your desired store location, we've added the additional functionality in the form of a Copy Schedule button at the top right section of the page. When using this button, which is available in both calendar and grid views, we are met with a window that will allow us to copy the schedule from another time period over to the time period we are currently editing. When creating a vendor parts list report, which is easily navigated to via Point of Sale, Reports, and then selecting the List Reports option, we have added some additional report types within the Report Type dropdown. The added options include Do Not Order Parts, Child Products with Parts, Products with Multiple Parts, same vendor, and Products with Multiple Parts, different vendors. These same additional filter options have been added to the Vendor Part Mass Update module, which can be navigated to by clicking on the Point of Sale, Price Book, Vendor Parts, and then finally selecting the Mass Update button at the top right of the page. From here, we can select our desired filter from the Filter Vendor Parts dropdown. And when we are within the Label Printing System module, which we can access via Point of Sale, Maintenance, Print Templates, and then clicking on the Print Manager button at the top right of the page, you'll notice that we've added the ability to print said labels utilizing UPC aliases. More specifically, once we hit the Start Printing button, you'll see 3 additional drop-down print toggles that include buydowns, include discounts, and use alias if exists. With regards to the last of those 3 new options, the Use Alias toggle, should a product have more than one UPC alias, we can now specify which of those UPC aliases we wish to assign as the primary UPC alias for the product in question. This can be done by navigating to the item in question within our price book and selecting the Manage Item Aliases button. Here, we can specify which of the item aliases present we want to make the primary UPC alias of the product in question. The UPC alias we mark primary here will be the UPC that is printed when we have the Use Alias If Exists toggle set to Yes within the Label Printing System module. We have added some additional filters and columns within the Cost Changes Between Dates report. We can navigate to said report by clicking on Point of Sale, Reports, Inventory Reports, and then choosing the Cost Changes Between Dates report from the Choose Reports dropdown. When viewing the report criteria, you will notice that we now have the ability to apply a custom filter via the Filter Items. We also have added the ability to filter our cost changes by specific employees and/or users by selecting our desired option from the Changed By column. When either the employees or users options are selected, we can then choose to filter our list of cost changes down even further by applying specific employees or users by selecting either Filter by Cashiers, or filter by users within the filter by employee or filter by user drop-down. There is now the additional option to filter our selection via the Change Notes drop-down. When viewing our scan data report settings, accessed by clicking on Point of Sale, Reports, and then clicking on the Scan Data option, we've added info icons that can be seen to the right of all scan data report options on the right-hand side of the page. When we hover our mouse over these information icons, we are met with the explanation of what that specific report option is and what it does. When editing a given discount, there is a new column present when selecting the small eyeball icon found within the Discount Filters section. When we click on this icon, the new column labeled Discount Count can be seen to the right of the item type column. This column will provide us with a numerical value that is representative of how many discounts that particular line item or product is a part of. Should we desire to delve deeper, we may click on the displayed number, which will subsequently open up a Discount Details window. From here, we can view a list view of all the discounts the product in question is a part of, and should we desire, we may click on the hyperlink embedded name of the discount. This will bring us to that specific discount within Control Center. We've gone ahead and added two additional options in the form of checkboxes, Rollup links, and Show Last Reorder Date within the out-of-stock report, which can be accessed by navigating to Point of Sale, Reports, Inventory Reports, then selecting our out-of-stock report from the Choose Report drop-down. When checked, the Rollup link option will roll up all product linkages and display just the parent items, if they exist, for the products being displayed within the report. If the Show Last Reorder Date option is selected, the last reorder date column will be displayed. Within the Random Sales Report, found under Point of Sale, Reports, Sales Reports, and then choosing the Random Sales option from the Choose Report drop-down, we have added a date field that will allow us to choose the date we want our number of weeks to include filter to start from. So in this case, we can run our report for a duration of 2 weeks, but we want it to start from the first of the month. In this case, we simply choose the first within the date filter and our desired time frame of 2 weeks for this example. The resultant report now provides us with our specified number of random sales for the duration selected from the start date of our choosing. We've gone ahead and added some additional filter options to the Sales Trend Comparison Sales Report. We can get to this particular report by clicking Point of Sale, Reports, Sales Reports, and selecting Sales Trend Comparison from the Choose Report drop-down. When the report type is set to Sales Comparison, we've added the following 3 additional filter options to the Select Group to Compare drop-down list: Category, Discounts, and Discounts with Details. We may utilize the Manage button to specify which manufacturers, categories, discounts, or discounts with details we wish to compare against one another. When attempting to delete an item from our price book that has a quantity on hand assigned to it, we have added a large warning window in order to prevent accidental deletions and to obtain additional confirmation from the user should a deletion take place. This same warning has been implemented when a user attempts to delete any items within a quantity on hand within both the Mass Updates module within the price book as well as the Inactive Item Wizard found under the Products tab within the price book. When we attempt to send a given order as EDI to its associated vendor, we've added an exclusion that will remove any items that are on said order with an order quantity of 0. The reasoning behind this is that, as you may or may not know, some vendors will consider any items on a given order with an order quantity of 0 as an order quantity of 1 instead. Within the Transfers Inventory Report, found under Point of Sale, Reports, Inventory Reports, and then choosing the Transfers option from the Choose Report drop-down, we've added a grand totals line to the bottom of said report that will total all values within the quantity and total cost columns. We've added a new sales report called Manual Age Entry and Age Visually Verified Sales Report. This report will allow you to view all transactions during which either both manual and visual age verification, visually verified, or manually entered age verification methods were utilized. We have added an exclusion for the delivery fee and credit card fee fields within the eJournal report whenever a given transaction did not incur either of the aforementioned fees. We've added a mass update button within the Employees module found under the Users section of Control Center. By clicking on this mass update button, we are able to apply our desired permission settings to our specified selection of employees en masse, as opposed to doing this within each individual employee's profile. We can also assign location-specific settings for the dashboard, POS, and handheld modules as well. We've also added the ability to import product tags via our POS import utility found under Point of Sale, Other, and then selecting Import Utility. Within the non-cash surcharges sales report, we've added an additional report type called Standard Credit Card Fees that will allow us to run a report for both transactions involving cash discounting as well as credit card fees. We've added an additional report type option within the monthly sales report labeled by category. When this option is selected, the category depth dropdown appears. This dropdown will allow us to specify just how far we want to drill our report down by with regards to the categories within our price book. We have also added a Rollup dropdown that becomes accessible when we have by item selected as our report type, and show value as is set to total quantity. From here, we can then select as separate, as decimal, or as parent-child. We have also added a show chart checkbox whenever we have show value as set to total sales dollars. When creating or viewing an inventory definition, which can be accomplished by navigating to point of sale, inventory, inventory counts, and then clicking on the drop-down arrow directly to the right of cycle counts, and selecting inventory definitions, and either editing an existing definition or adding a new one, we've added an additional inventory definition filter. If we select the drop-down found under Manage Inventory Definition Filters, we can now select Filter by In-Store Location. Once this filter option is selected, we can now add as many in-store locations, aisles, sections, end caps, as we want to our cycle count definition. We have also added an automatic inclusion to our non-sellers sales report of items that were never invoiced but were transferred from one store to another, and items that were either adjusted or counted at some point in time. While we're on the topic of the non-sellers report, we've added a Rollup dropdown so that the user may specify how they would like to roll up the data within the quantity on hand column. This can be done by choosing one of the three options present: as decimal value, as parent-child, or as separate. We've added the same Rollup drop-down option mentioned previously to the item ranking sales report as well. Once more, the user will be able to choose one of the following three options to roll up the quantity data in both the quantity on hand and quantity sold columns by as separate, as decimal, or as parent-child. We've added the ability to set a forced driver's license scan on a POS flag of the user's choosing. Whenever an item with said POS flag assigned to it is rung up inside of the POS, this in turn triggers a mandatory driver's license scan. This setting can also be assigned to specific locations using the Manager Force DL Scan Locations filter and hitting the Add Location button. From here, we can add which location or locations we would like to force a driver's license scan at. When the redemption of a loyalty customer's loyalty points is performed for a given sales transaction, we have added a line item to the viewable live receipt within the POS labeled Loyalty Redemption that will specify the total amount of loyalty dollars our customer has redeemed for this particular transaction. This will also be visible on the customer-facing display as a part of the subtotal line items and will continue to be factored into the tendered portion of the subtotal screen. Within the miscellaneous POS settings found under Point of Sale, maintenance, settings and panels, POS, POS Device Global Settings, register settings, we've added an additional setting called Force License Scan if age less than X. When this is toggled to yes, we will now be able to specify a numerical age as an upper limit that should a given customer's age be less than said upper limit, a mandatory driver's license scan will be initiated. We have added the ability to specify predefined Open Department notes within the settings of our designated Open Department button or buttons. When viewing the aforementioned settings of our Open Department button, we can toggle the Open Department Sale Note setting to on, which will then allow us to specify a total of 5 notes that the cashier will be able to choose from when an Open Department sale is performed. This setting is set to off by default whenever an Open Department button is created from scratch. Within the POS application, we will now be displaying the company name and company code at the top left of both the initial splash screen as well as the cashier home screen once the user logs into the POS application. This will allow for extremely smooth and seamless identification during any and all Lifeline support calls, which will in turn allow our support staff to begin the troubleshooting process much sooner and do so more effectively. It is worth noting that this additional information is also viewable within the POS Diagnostics screen. We have added an additional setting within Miscellaneous POS Settings found under Point of Sale, Maintenance, Settings and Panels, POS, POS Device Settings, Register Settings, labeled Prompt CFD on Item Scan Age Verification. When this is toggled to yes, we may click on the Setup Hyperlink button. This will in turn allow us to specify a message that will be displayed on our customer-facing display when age verification is triggered during a sale. We've added the ability for failed UPC scan notes to append themselves and be displayed in a historical list view when the Click for Notes hyperlink is selected within the Failed Scans module. This module can be accessed under Point of Sale, Pricebook, Failed UPC Scans. We have added 2 new options when creating or editing a given buydown under the buydown style dropdown labeled dollar amount and dates and dollar amount. When the dollar amount option is selected, this will provide us with 2 editable fields labeled dollar limit and amount respectively. The dollar limit is the total limit for that buydown for a transaction involving said buydown. For example, if we set our dollar limit to $10 and the buydown amount within the amount field to $2, our buydown will only be able to trigger a maximum of 5 times. If we instead select the dates and dollar amount option from the buydown style dropdown, this will in turn allow us to also specify a start and end date for the buydowns in question. We have also added 2 additional filters to the buydown style dropdown present within our buydown item details list report that will allow us to filter said report by the 2 aforementioned new buydown styles, dollar amount and dates and dollar amount respectively. We've added additional functionality within the Print button present when viewing shift reconciliations within Control Center. When the small Print printer icon is clicked, a window will appear titled Print Options. This will then allow us to choose whether or not we wish to print just the Shift Recon, just the Lottery Recon, or both the Shift and Lottery Recons. Within our Scan Data settings, found under Point of Sale, Reports, Scan Data, if we have enabled the Auto Send feature and a given scan data file was not sent successfully to the FTP server specified, this will in turn automatically generate and send out an error message in the form of an email to the email or emails specified within the notification list text box at the top of the page. The automated email message in question will provide the FTP status, failure reason, and root cause of the failure. If the auto send button is disabled, an automated reminder will be sent to the emails present within the notification list text box, instructing them to ensure they manually send out the scan data file in question for the previous sales week. Some additional minor changes. Within the Discounts module, we have added an additional filter dropdown labeled Choose Discount Set. This, of course, allowing us to choose the discount set we would like to filter our list of discounts by in order to further narrow down our search. When we are within the Transfers module, we have also added an additional total quantity field that will provide us with the total quantity for each respective line item. When a user attempts to hit the Convert to Adjustment button within a given worksheet, we've added a warning pop-up in order to garner additional confirmation from the user prior to converting the worksheet in question to an adjustment. That concludes our Cloud POS Release Notes training video. If you have any further questions, comments, or concerns, please let us know by reaching out to us at our sales department or contacting us via our support line. Thank you.